Hey, so today I'm not going to waste any time because we're here with a video that I have a lot of opinions on this. So let us get started on one of the more controversial, I guess not controversial, just maybe you could argue diversifying games of 2023. Let's get right into the story of Forspoken. So, story starts out, you are Frey living in New York. Christmas is decided her birthday because she was found abandoned as a baby by one of the tunnels. And so she never ended up like really getting adopted or finding her family or anything. So she ended up getting into some trouble. Got enough money though to be able to hopefully move like somewhere out of that particular, I believe she's in Hell's Kitchen, New York. I don't know. But move out of her particular situation in New York because she's living in a apartment that's been like foreclosed. It's like abandoned, nobody lives there. But the place ends up getting burned down while she's sleeping. She loses the money, doesn't know what to do, and a bracelet cuff looking thing in a store window attracts her attention. When she goes to get it, she is transported to another world. That is the basics of the story. So now, let us move on to the gameplay. So let me just start off by saying I absolutely love the magic system in this game and everything. So how the basics of it work is you start off with just Frey's magic set, but you do get other magic sets related to the Tantas in the game. And you have just your main normal attack that you're going to use, you have a special attack, and then you have basically like a big, special attack. That's the big hard hitter, and you have to wait for it to charge over time. The special attack also generally does have like charge time. It depends on what it is though, on if it's a shorter or longer, which is a really cool thing in my opinion. And with just your main attack, because you attack using R2 and L2 and then hold them both down for the big attack, if you hold down R2, it also releases a slightly more powerful version of the main attack, and you can upgrade all this in skill trees. And the really cool thing is, so let's say you're in Frey's Such of Magic, if you hold down either R1 or L1 respectively, then you can just change what the main attack or the special attack is on the fly without really having to like pause and go into a menu or being stuck in a fight having to stick with a certain thing. And you can even switch by just using the D-pad, and this can all be done in combat. Just using the D-pad, you can switch between the different magic sets. Like, it flows amazingly, and it makes the combat really fun. And then also the parkour system, which you have a button that you can jump with, but let's be real, once you get the parkour, especially as it gets upgraded, you're definitely going to be using that a lot more. And it's just, you have, like your stamina meter, but you can get it up pretty high, and it honestly lasts pretty good in general. And you could just walk somewhere, but a lot of the times in the game, like half the time, I wouldn't walk in the pathing that the game had thought I was gonna do. I would just end up like crazy parkouring to it because I could, and why not? It worked great. It was super fun in that regard. It is kind of an open world game, but I ended up not really doing a lot of the quests because a lot of the little side quest things just felt extremely similar, of either just find this thing and then you get, oh, here's a little special power that really didn't do much. It would just be like deconstructing an item or whatever, or it would be, oh, fight through this like mini dungeon and you would get a cool item at the end. And a lot of them, there was like so many different, they were like packaged as different ones, but they all kind of at the core felt the same of what they were doing. So that wasn't maybe the most thrilling. That's why I didn't really end up doing a lot. And there were also some like side quests of talking to people, but I kind of really didn't end up doing a lot of those either because they weren't the most interesting, just in my personal opinion. But of course, you have your other usual things of, the only two things you can equip is a necklace and a cloak. You can get different ones or craft different ones, and you of course can upgrade them. You also have a kind of interesting thing of nail art that's done on you do on your nails, and it is explained in the story that it's, with the tantas and everything, you give them powers. And you can on each hand have different nail art that, will give you +5 to fire damage or like +10 defense or just anything like that. And you could mix and match, and you could find them out in the wild. So nothing really too super crazy with like the crafting and everything. That was kept fairly basic, but there's nothing wrong with it, because you can definitely tell that they spent a lot of time crafting like the magic system and how that would work everything. And the game, of course, honestly, at least in my opinion, like the world, yeah, it's kind of barren, but it does make sense story-wise. It's so beautiful to look at, and there is a sub-story of like taking pictures for somebody. So they're set up specifically, it's not you just to take a picture of whatever because she has her phone, and you can take pictures, and some of those landscape shots and everything, like they knew what they were doing and what they wanted you to look at. And of course, the monster designs, they are all really cool and really unique. I love them. Like, there's just a lot of the gameplay and everything. Like, it was very fun doing the boss fights, and at least looking at the game for what it was. It's a very very beautiful looking game and everything. So now we are going to go on to my thoughts and opinions. Okay, so this game, I'm not gonna lie, it upsets me because there is so much good in this game, but it's all brought down by literally the main character. And I'm not talking about the actress. The actress who does the voice for her, she does perfectly fine, like it's a great job, nothing with that. It's the way Frey's character is written. I am going to go into heavy spoilers here. I'm going to talk about the end of the game, big plot points, so if you don't want to know that, go play the game, go watch somebody play the game, something. Game's pretty short. I beat it on easy mode in like just under 11 hours, doing basically only just the story, so it's quick to beat if you want to do that, and then come back to this video. But so I mean, obviously when Frey first gets there, it makes sense that she's like, yeah, I kind of just want to get back home to New York. I don't know what's going on here. It makes sense. A lot of heroes in games and books and movies, whatever, the first thought when they get transported somewhere is like, how am I going to get home? I would love to know that. So at the beginning, it makes sense that she's like that, She meets Auden, who sticks her neck out for her and breaking her out of prison, which, pretty big deal for her. Could get in trouble for that. And, this girl who, she knows her mom is gone, she thought her father was gone, so, she's like, yeah, well, if you, I'd prefer if you stayed, but if you really do want to go, then, like, here's where my dad kept all his text. And she's just wanting her to stay because Frey's the only one who can survive in what is called the break of like the spread of infection. I guess you could say it's just the easiest way. It's like the curse, infection, whatever you want to call it, that plagues the world. And anybody who walks into it, they usually turn into a monster. Frey doesn't though. So of course, Auden is like, well, I kind of like if you stay, because our home is dying, and this city, Sepal, it's the last place we've got, and you're the only one who can survive, so it would be really nice to get your help, but, if you want to go, I guess I understand. And when Frey does go out and, looks for, sorry about my dog snoring, by the way, and looks for her dad's works, because, he was someone who was looking into all this and everything, she actually finds her dad. He's pretty far gone, but the break hasn't completely infected and ruined him. Like, he's still kind of there. He's human. He can identify things. Like, when she brings him back, he recognizes that it's his daughter Auden and everything. He's not like attacking people, so he's still there. And so you beat one of the Tantas. And once you beat that Tanta, she's like, I don't want to kill again. That's not right. And it's like, I mean, I could see maybe fair enough, but, if these Tantas are what's causing the problem, then, it kind of has to be what it has to be. So when she gets back, the break ends up spreading to, like, a little further into Sepal, and, it devastates the town right in front of her. She sees, like, a bunch of people who she was just partying and celebrating with because she had defeated this Tanta who, was one of the ones who was causing the problem and had come and directly threatened the town, and she came back a hero. And so all these people she was just celebrating with, a bunch of them just ended up falling victim to the break. So you would think, okay, maybe here's a little change of heart, usually where the character would start to care, want to fight, be like, these are innocent people, they're dying, this isn't right, it seems like I'm the only one who can do anything. Well, since I'm here anyway, maybe I could at least help them because I have magic, I can go into the break, I could do something about this, nobody else can, so maybe I can at least try and help and do what I can, But yeah, no, that's not the case with her, because when it comes to the point where Auden's father is, he's dying, he needs, it's like, I don't know exactly how to describe it. It's just like the healing juice from this tree. There's a lot of specific lore to go into that I'm not a lore person. I'm not game theory over here, but basically he needs this juice from this tree in order to survive, and she isn't able to get it to him in time. So he passes away, which, obviously very sad, especially for Auden, who she thought her dad was gone. She got him back. She had him for probably in game is what, maybe like a day or two, and then she loses him again, and this time she loses him right in front of her. Like, it's 100%, he's gone. I guess in that way it was at least nice that she was able to be there to say goodbye, but it's a very hard thing. And so Frey's off in another room. She thinks she's mumbling to herself, and what she talks about is how now that Bob is what she calls the guy, that he's dead, she's not getting back home. And Auden overhears it, and she calls her out on that, like, well, I'm sorry that my father's death is an inconvenience for you. And this is where her character really turned, and I was just done with it, because she straight up just goes off on Auden, this girl who just watched her father die, watched more, citizens die a day or two ago, is completely losing her home, doesn't seem like there's really any hope, losing everything. What are you supposed to do? She has the audacity to go to Auden and be like, well, I was abandoned as a baby and I'm not wanted here and my life is hard, so I just want to go home. And it's like, that's where she just completely lost me. Because it's like, so you're making this a boo-hoo pity party about you, and you're saying you're not wanted in this place, but the thing is, nobody, yeah, they kind of locked you up when you first came, because they didn't know what to do. You were a person who came out of nowhere, you, came out of the break, so that was kind of terrifying, lock you up, try to figure out what's going on. But once you, proved you're not a threat to them, they were all very welcoming. They threw you a big party when you helped them out. There's so many people who were happy to see her. And what's waiting for her in New York? A cat. Don't get me wrong, I love my dog, but it's a cat this cat she already gave to somebody else to take care of, so she knows for a fact the cat is being taken care of. There's nothing else for her in New York, but she wants to sit there and whine and complain about this, and about how she was abandoned as a baby, which it's like, okay, I get there's trauma with that, but you're 21 years old and you're an adult now. It's, maybe this isn't the time to be talking about your issues of the fact that you were left as a baby. you know, you're just throwing in this girl's face, like, and just blatantly telling her, and not really even apologizing for it, that, yeah, the only reason I kind of care your dad died is because I can't get home now. Like, that is just so cruel. And she just goes storming around town being like, screw everybody here. I hate this place. I hate everybody. My problems suck. And it's just the biggest thing. And I was like, okay, this is really starting to frustrate me. And then we get closer to the end of the game where there was a huge moment where she could redeem herself. Because, you know, you find out that she was abandoned. Her mother was one of the Tantas in the region, and they're like the 4 people who basically look over the land, take care of it, but they got corrupted by the evil, and that's why they're kind of now, that's why they're spreading the break and everything, is they got corrupted. Her mother knew she was going to get corrupted as well, so she took Frey and, you know, put her in the portal, because she's like, well, if I keep you here, you know, I'm about to get corrupted, I'll end up killing you, let me at least send you, because she had actually met Frey's father in New York, so Frey is like half from New York, the real world, so she's like, let me send you through, that way you can at least live. And, you know, her mom was like, yeah, you must hate me for it. And Frey, one, even has the audacity to be like, yeah, I kind of do. You abandoned me. It's like, okay. As, maybe this is just coming from this perspective, but as a person with 3 kids, like, seeing the scene of the mother giving up her baby, which, because like I said, everything else, all the other characters, like, the scenes, you know, if you disclude Frey, honestly, and her crappy attitude, they're very well written. It's a very good game. Like, her mom giving up the baby, that made me very emotional. I was almost crying, like, at the thought. Like, the people who animated that, the voice actress who did it, like, it was all great. It really made you feel something. And she's like, yeah, I did kind of hate it, but I guess you had to. It's like, I mean, how... And maybe I just don't understand because, you know, I'm not in a situation where I was adopted, but it's like, and, you know, obviously the supernatural, but given that context, I don't really see how you could still say that, yeah, I still kind of hate you. Because it's like, it's very obvious she had no choice. It was made abundantly clear, because for the longest time Frey just thought she wasn't wanted, but she sees the memory of her mother and it's like, no, you were very wanted, you were loved, your mother, more than anything, wanted to keep Frey. She literally had no choice. If she had kept Frey, she would have killed her own baby, because she was going to get corrupted. There was no choice. Like, there was no way Frey could have been kept. So to say, yeah, I still kind of hate you is like, okay, well, that's kind of bitchy. And the moment that really got me is her mother comes and she's like, you know, the cutscene kind of plays out and she's like, okay, I will give you a choice because, you know, you feel this isn't your battle because you were raised in New York, so you're not really connected to this land. You can either go back to New York or you can go fight the big bad. And instead of it being a cutscene where she's like, no, of course I'm gonna stay and fight, it is player choice. So the player can choose to go back to New York, which, spoiler alert, if you do that, because I looked up the ending because I was like, I ain't doing that, it's like a 40-second cutscene of her just cuddling up in an apartment somewhere, like a rundown apartment with Homer, and cut to credits, and that's it. Game ends. Or, you know, player can choose to go fight the big bad. And the fact that it was left to player choice tells, like, it just tells me, this is what I interpret from it, is there really was no character growth from Frey. Because if there was character growth in her, the cutscene would have just continued of Frey choosing to stay and fight, not leaving it up to the player. Like, Frey honestly was just so, like, to a very terrible and annoying extent, just selfish and mean, and only really, like, she did not care about other people. There was no empathy. Her whole, even, she's like, yeah, I learned you gotta look out for number one. Like, not wanting to even slightly care about anybody. And then, you know, if you do pick go fight the big bad, suddenly she's like, oh, of course I'll stay, I can't abandon people, oh, we're all good friends. But it feels so hollow because it was my choice. It wasn't a cutscene that continued and solely Frey's choice and the only choice I was going to happen. No, it was my choice. And that's the part, I hope I'm stressing like why that makes me upset, but that's the part that really is like it just killed it for me, which I hate because like I said, all the other characters, Auden, the Tantas, Bob, they're all so like I like those characters. They have depth. The world, while yes it is empty, which, it kind of does make sense given the world is run in ruin, but it still looks really pretty and everything to go around. And the magic system, the parkour, like I was saying, oh my god, it's so fun. I love that so much. Like the fighting, it was so fun. It felt really streamlined and just really like good and everything. There's so much good about the game, but honestly, I can't really like it because the main character brings it down so much. And that's a huge thing. It's like it's the character you're following. It's not like some companion character that you're like, oh, I kind of like that person, but you can get over it for like everything else. No, she's the main character you're playing as. It's like I can't just get over that. So honestly, it really is. And because I was curious, because I've kind of seen snippets of people saying that. Like, I haven't looked at anybody's reviews because I didn't want their reviews to, like, kind of twist anything I wanted to say before I filmed this. So, like, I'll probably watch just to see exactly what other people's thoughts are, but I wanted to make sure I formulated 100% my own thoughts. Not that, of course, my thoughts are always my own, but you get what I'm saying. You sometimes kind of get influenced to be like, no, yeah, with what other people are saying. So, like, I really do, and that's what frustrates me. I want to love this game so much, so bad, but I can't, and it's because of Frey. So honestly, I have to give this game like a 5 out of 10 because she just brings it down that much. Like I said, the magic system, that's all really fun and everything, but at least coming back to the story and I couldn't do it just because of Frey's character. But anyway, go ahead, leave down in the comments below if you played Forspoken, maybe what you thought, or, any other games like that. Just any thoughts at all. If you like this video, go ahead and leave a like. If you dislike this video, you can even go ahead and leave a dislike. It's a free country. Say what you want to say. If you like this video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I upload every Friday. My Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, Discord, other channel, Discord and other channel, whenever I start using them more, all linked down below. The Twitch schedule, it is changing just slightly. It's going to be just during the day, starting at 11:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time about. Tuesday through Friday should be about the new streaming schedule. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Depends on what it is, though, on if it's a shorter or longer, which is a really cool thing in my opinion. And with just your main attack, because you attack using R2 and L2 and then hold them both down for the big attack, if you hold down R2, it also releases a slightly more